What up, nerds? And welcome to Bon Me's Dying Tonight here at Straight Chillin'. We are, of course, your weekly horror movie review show where you chill and we kill, slice, dice, and chop up yet another horror movie. My name is Bob. I'll be your host for the evening. This is episode 393, recorded Sunday, October 16th, 2022. Tonight we are talking about that new hotness from David Gordon Green, Halloween Ends. Before we get into it, let me introduce everyone else on the show. First up, calling in from Washington, D.C., we got our boy Randu. What's up?
Randu!
Hey, buddy. How's it going? Are we all feeling very positive? Super posy today?
I am super posy today.
Oh, yeah. This is going to be just a relaxed, chill conversation about a very amenable film franchise.
We're all about positivity.
I'm excited to speak calmly about it.
Nobody gets excited. Nobody gets negative. Never has, never will. That's just how we are.
What we do is breathing exercises.
Next up, we got our boy doing a downward dog calling in from South Korea. What's up, Soju?
Oh, what up? It's your boy. Oh, God, boys. What have they done to our boy?
What have they done to my boy?
Well, look what they did to my boy, boys. Boys, look on my boy.
Boys. Not my boy, boys.
Oh, what did they do to my boy?
That's a hell of a stain.
Yeah, that's a monologue, Stains. Could be.
What a fantastic question that we're definitely going to get to the bottom of here by the end of the show. Before we get to it, let's tackle some housekeeping real quick. Here's another reminder. We do have our November poll pick currently posted on our Patreon website. If you support us at the $5 level or above, you get the chance to vote on a movie we're talking about this November. The theme for November is Juicy J's Takeover Month. What are we voting on here, Juice?
I'm taking over. We are voting on Henry Selick films. This is a director highlight. He has made some fantastic classic horror animations. Nightmare Before Christmas, Coraline, and James and the Giant Peach are the films that you can vote on. And Bob, how are those numbers looking?
Dude, Coraline is straight dominating still.
Killing it. She's been killing it all month.
Killing it. Nightmare Before Christmas is in second place, and James and the Giant Peach, not looking so giant, buddy. You're in last.
Is he still at 0?
I think there is a single vote for James now.
Somebody came out of referee.
He got something.
It's mostly just been at 0.
There's always one guy who wants that last flavor of Neapolitan, isn't there?
Yeah, well, you know that votes can be changed, but Coraline's great. You know, these are all three, in my opinion, classics. And so I'm happy to talk about either one.
We can't lose, really. We're going to talk about a good movie, no matter what. Mm-hmm. Make sure you get your votes in before the end of October. We'll see what we're talking about in November. In other Patreon news, we did drop a brand new minicast last Friday. We're dropping a new minicast every single Friday throughout the month of October. Last Friday, we dropped one on Bodies. This Friday, we got a new hot minicast dropping. We are all three of us are on this one. We're talking about Crimes of the Future.
Oh,
Crimes of the Future.
The new
it was so long ago we talked about this.
Yeah, I was just thinking. I was like, I forgot about this.
We are prepared. That new Cronenberg hotness. It's extremely horny and extremely weird. So, spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers for our review.
Yeah. Coming out on Friday.
There you go. That's dropping this Friday. Man, we got a lot of shit going on. We got a new episode.
Get the juice now.
We got a new episode of Let's Get Physical Media also dropping this week. At the time of you listening to this, shit. It will already be out. Mikey and myself, we're talking about our September pickups for the year. If you have any interest in collecting physical media, Blu-rays, 4Ks, DVDs, limited edition shit, stuff like that, check out Let's Get Physical Media anywhere you get your podcasts. We talk a lot about horror movies, but not explicitly. We kind of cover the gamut. So that is dropping this Tuesday. Again, actually, we got to celebrate our Chilloween party. Big thanks to everybody that hung out with us this past Friday for the Chilloween extravaganza. We had a good turnout. We played some trivia. We had some amazing costumes. People.
One person was dressed up as Bob.
That is true. Our boy Nate.
Yeah.
Which I did
That
not.
was me.
Like when he logged on, it did not clock that he was dressed up as me. And he had to I was like, oh, that's just something that I don't know what it is.
You're just thinking, wow, you're looking good tonight, Naderade.
Damn.
Wow, you're looking snazzy,
You've been
my
hitting
guy.
the gym? What are you doing?
When did you get so tasteful?
Loving the hair, man.
Loving the
Where'd you
Hawaiian
get that
tee.
shirt?
Shit. My boy. Fuck.
Come to daddy.
Come to daddy. That shit was really funny, though. We had a couple Kurt Russells in the mix. We had a Cinnabite
Panda
in the mix. We had a panda costume. Yeah, we had some good ass shit. We'll be getting the prizes out in the mail to you guys as soon as possible. It'll probably be about a week. I want to make sure that I got some good shit to stuff in those prize packs before I send them out. So expect that in the mail coming relatively soon there.
So plump, so right.
We also have some new merch on our TeePublic website. Randy, you designed the shit out of some new merch for us.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. Yeah, so taking our Chilloween party to heart, we have some very, very limited edition pieces on TeePublic right now, our TeePublic page. And that is a copy of our Chilloween 2022 logo, as well as our pumpkin head logo icon, which I personally purchased one because I love him. He's one of my favorite things I've done. So I'm psyched to wear him on my chest during this spooky season, and you can too. But again, they're limited edition, and what that means is when it's November 1st, they're off the market, baby, forever, probably. And
Probably. They're going in the vault.
You're definitely probably not going to get it ever again.
Probably.
So please,
That's
while
why
you
we
still
announced
have
it
it in
so
you.
early in the
I know.
season.
Yeah, we only want the creme de la creme of the hardest with us to get this item. So please jump on over to our TeePublic page. I believe there's a link on our site, and there's also a link on our Instagram. Whatever, link tree, whatever the fuck that is.
Linktree,
It's in there.
Yeah.
Find it yourself.
Yeah,
It's in there.
there's a link to our TeePublic shop.
There's a scavenger hunt to find our page.
I've left you a series of clues.
We don't want to sell fucking anything, and we want to make that very clear to all of you right now.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a link on Instagram and also on our website, straightchillingpodcast.com, to our TeePublic shop if you guys are interested. And you can get those logos on tote bags and sweatshirts and all kinds of, not just shirts.
Phone cases, masks,
stickers,
kids' clothing,
condoms, butt plugs, all the things.
I mean, that's a whole different site.
All in development.
We have to test the plugs, make sure they
them out myself.
Can we get these beads any bigger? They're just not big enough.
I haven't
just
pooped in
keeps
3
falling
weeks.
right out.
It's insufficient to fill the chasm.
It's not
we're
plugging right.
We're making poop and butthole jokes. Bob is not going to be able to keep the
It's
beat.
And
not
housekeeping.
plugging right. All right. Last but not least, Juice, you're doing something really cool over in Seoul for all of our Seoul listeners. What do you got going on over there?
Yeah, after all that, let me go ahead and announce what I'm up to.
Walking around with butt plugs.
Yeah, so actually, this is going to be kind of the first straight chilling event to happen in Seoul, which is crazy because I've been here over 5 years now. But on the day before Halloween, so this is Sunday, October 30th, I am going to be participating in a Halloween event that is being hosted by ourselves, The Dark Side of Soul, which is another podcast in Soul. If you heard our episode on A Tale of Two Sisters that we did a couple months ago, Sean, who is the guest on that episode, he is a part of The Dark Side of Soul. They are hosting as well as the Dice Latte, which is actually where the event will also be held. They're hosting as well. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be doing some spooky activities. They got some games planned. I'm going to be hosting for trivia at that event. So that is October 30th at the Dice Latte, which is in Dongdaemun. If you happen to be listening and you're in Korea, come hang out with us the day before Halloween and celebrate spooky season.
Nay.
Yes.
Awesome.
We're going international, boys. Finally.
That's super badass, man. I'm very, very stoked for you to be able to do that. Yeah, check us out. Soul side, state side, all the sides. We got all the sides. We're everywhere.
Yeah. I did want to mention last week. I know I got a little bit more housekeeping.
Go for it.
But mostly because last week I did a special YouTube video review with Hydraberg from A Cut Above Horror Review. I was keeping it a secret last week, so I want to make sure he gets a shouts outs. We did a pretty much full review of Werewolf by Night. That is the Marvel MCU Halloween special that was dropped. We went Cooter hunting. We did some trivia. So if you're looking for a kind of bonus review, you can check that out at youtube.com/straight chillin' podcast. We are just slamming so much in your ears these days.
It still shocks me that you just insisted on having that on a separate show instead of talking on this one.
I know. I didn't want to hear y'all's opinion.
Just
that's clear. That is clear.
We heard you.
I wanted to hear Hydraberg's.
You didn't say the magic word.
No, Hydraberg is always the number one defender of the MCU on our Slack channel, so I felt it appropriate to
the real superhero on our Slack.
He does the avenging for us.
Well, boys, I think our house is officially clean.
I think so.
This house is clean.
Confirmed.
All right, let's get into the main event. We're talking about Halloween Ends, and we're kicking it off with the back of the box.
What's on the back of the box?
Bob, did you already pre-order this box?
I did not pre-order this. But you can. You can if you want to.
Whoa, Bob.
Really?
Showing restraint.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I might let this one
I guess they are releasing them pretty quickly.
for a minute.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Bob, you know.
Mr. Completionist is on a break for this one.
I know. I mean, if Best Buy puts out a limited edition steelbook of this, I have the one for Kills and for Halloween 2018. I have to buy it because, I'm a corporate shill. But as of right now, that is not the case. We're talking Halloween Ends. Brand new movie with a runtime of 1 hour and 51 minutes. This was written and directed by David Gordon Green, obviously based on characters from John Carpenter's original film. It stars Jamie Lee Curtis, Andy Matichak, James Jude Courtney, Rohan Campbell, Will Patton makes his triumphant return, whole bunch of other folks. A plot synopsis brought to us by IMDb because the box does not exist just yet is as follows. The saga of Michael Myers and Laurie Strode comes to a spine-chilling climax in this final installment of this trilogy. What a odd summary that is.
I just get so excited about all that boogeyman bullshit.
Boogeyman bullshit. Well, Gentleman's brand new movie, first time watch, obviously. Would you recommend people check this movie out? Juice, why don't you kick us off?
So if you want in on the fun, if you want in on the conversations and the rage, then yeah, watch this. I do not spend money like our two other hosts, to feed this crooked machine. Stream it, watch it online.
Yeah, it's a principled stance.
It is. It's principled. Okay. I'm a man with the code. No, don't go to the theaters to watch this. These people don't need to take any more of your money. But watch it and join in on the fun of bitching about this movie. It's not good. Bob, would you recommend people check this movie out?
Only out of just morbid curiosity. It's not good, and we'll get into all that. But like Justin said, do not, if you can watch it at the house, check it out. Obviously, you're gonna watch it no matter what. Unless you've just decided hardlined after kills, like, fuck you, David Gordon Green. It's, I don't know. We got a lot to talk about, but no, I don't really recommend it. Randy, what about you?
I mean, to some extent, I agree with Justin. Like, this is not a movie that is that I was excited to see by any means. But at least at first, but once the buzz started happening, once the reaction started hitting, I really wanted to see it. And I felt like I was jonesing to get in the seat and actually get my fill so that I could capably talk about this with people without having it spoiled for myself. So if you're one of those completionist types, if you're one of those Halloween mega fans, I maintain that there are worse Halloween movies than this in the franchise. So take from that what you will and go check it out. I don't think you're going to be personally responsible for the next Halloween movie being made if you go to the goddamn theater once. So enjoy yourself as much as possible.
I think that's fair to say. This is not the worst, but it is peculiar for sure. So.
Some people could argue it's the worst.
Some people very much are arguing it.
Actually, on the Slack right now, there's quite a discussion. I couldn't go through all of it, but
Twitter is a buzz.
You could consider this the worst Halloween, and that would be an okay opinion.
It's one that you could have,
or reasonable. That would be a reasonable opinion.
All right, this is a brand new movie. We're dropping that spoiler warning right now and getting into it. Here we go.
Spoiler warning.
All right, Bob, did you type up a plot synopsis?
This is going to be the pettiest, most butthurt plot synopsis possible, I'm sure.
Well, Bob watched it a whole second time, so I know he was able. I sent him the link, so I know he was just sitting there watching, stewing in it.
Boys, we didn't know. I listened back to our reviews on Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills, and like that Halloween Kills episode, we covered it thoroughly, but like we didn't know how good we had it. We didn't know.
Nah, we were spoiled back then.
Fucking babe.
Some people don't think so, though. Some people don't think that's the case.
Anyway, I do have the plot synopsis typed
hit
out.
us with that.
I'm going to go through it. Here we go. All right, movie opens up on Halloween night 2019. We meet Corey Cunningham, who is babysitting a boy named Jeremy, who ends up locking Corey in the attic as a prank. Corey kicks the door open violently, which knocks Jeremy over a banister and down 3 stories, killing him as his parents return home for the evening. Corey is accused of killing the kid intentionally, but is only convicted of aggravated manslaughter, which apparently, in Illinois, I looked this up, gets you 2 to 5 years in jail. 3 years later, we find Haddonfield reeling from the events of Halloween night 2018. Laurie is writing a memoir and has purchased a new home where her granddaughter Allison lives with her. Corey gets bullied by some high school band kids and cuts his hand on a glass. An onlooking Laurie Strode takes him to the doctor's office where Allison works to get him patched up, and he and Allison hit it off. They attend a Halloween party later that evening where Corey runs into Jeremy's mother. He gets worked up, runs off, and the band bullies intercept him and throw him off a bridge. Michael Myers finds him and pulls him into the sewer he's apparently been living in. Corey wakes up and Michael grabs him by the throat. The two lock eyes and Michael decides to let Corey go. As he crawls out of the sewer, he is confronted by a homeless man with a knife. They have a struggle resulting in Corey stabbing him to death. Corey and Allison go on a date where they are confronted by Allison's ex-boyfriend, who is a cop. Corey ends up luring him to Michael's sewer home, where Michael kills him and appears to grow stronger after he does so. Allison finds out she was passed over for a promotion at work. The girl who got the promotion is sleeping with the boss. Corey and Michael kill Allison's coworker and boss while they're trying to have a nice little date night. Corey and Allison decide to leave Haddonfield. On Halloween morning, Corey wakes up to Laurie Strode telling him to stay away from Allison. Corey blames Laurie for what happened in Haddonfield, as do several of the other townsfolk. Corey returns to the sewer and takes Michael's mask from him. Corey kills the high school band bullies as well as his mother, the radio DJ by the name of Willie the Kid, and the radio station receptionist. Corey then goes to Laurie's home where she fakes a suicide and ends up shooting him twice in the chest. He falls through a banister and ultimately stabs himself in the neck because he realizes he can't have Allison. Allison arrives and believes that Laurie has just killed Corey. She's upset and leaves. Michael arrives and puts his mask back on. He also snaps Corey's neck, finally killing him. Michael and Laurie fight in the kitchen where Laurie pins him to the counter with several knives. Michael grabs Laurie by the neck, and Allison returns home, saving Laurie by breaking Michael's arm. They cut Michael's throat and wrists, letting him bleed out. The cops arrive and facilitate a procession where Michael's corpse is tied to the top of Allison's Ford motherfucking Focus. They parade his carcass through the town to show everybody he is indeed dead. Ultimately, they arrive at Corey's uncle's junkyard where they throw Michael's body into an industrial shredder, grinding his corpse up. Laurie and Allison reconcile. Allison leaves Haddonfield while Laurie finishes her memoir and rekindles a romance with Officer Hawkins. Roll them credits. Dear God, boys.
All right.
Dear God.
I get this horrible feeling in the pit of my stomach that I'm going to be the one defending this movie.
Well,
I mean, just
so okay. To be fair, like the first 3 or 4 notes on my pad, which goes quite a long way, but the first 3 or 4 notes start off with a trying to be positive kind of.
Let's start with the pros. I like this. Okay. Go for it.
I wrote I was like, damn, the opening was actually brutal. That's not particularly what I want to see a kid die, but I was like, wow, that was I was not expecting it, and I saw the kind of seeds of them planting of somebody, this kind of outcast. Even the opening, before we get into him meeting the granddaughter. What's the granddaughter's name? Please help me out.
Allison is her name.
Allison. So before Corey, meets Allison, like the idea of him being this outcast and blamed for this kind of murder and stuff like that, I was like, okay, I wasn't like super stoked about it, but I was willing to ride with it. And then there was like some scenes. I said, like, when they go to that dance, I was like, oh, this dancing is shot pretty interestingly. It's pretty cool. Some cool musical cues. There's some songs popping up that I thought were pretty badass.
Yeah, they had the Dead Kennedys in here, Halloween, and also Teenage Werewolf by the Cramps, and that like Midnight Monster Party song that the movie opens up with is fucking great. I never heard that before. That was a new one for me. The soundtrack is great. The score is like much more minimalistic than I think the other 2 movies, but it serves its purpose, I think, where it needs to. What's up? What you got?
Oh, before we get too far down the pipeline, I want to call out one thing that I think has been consistently great about all 3 of these films, and that is the title sequences. I like all of them. I don't like this one as much as the first 2. I think maybe Kills has the best one for my money, but which I didn't remember it was that good, but like having rewatched it recently, I was like, oh shit, yeah, this is pretty badass. Just like the floating, burning jack-o'-lanterns. That's pretty great. Yeah. This one, they have this kind of crazy like pumpkins bursting out of pumpkin situation. It's a little weirder.
It's Jackoception is what it is.
Jackoception, sure. And, it's not my favorite one, but I do like it a lot. I think that, especially like the type choice or whatever, because it's a harkening back to Halloween 3, which is kind of nice. And also like that, there's something about that type and that color or whatever that like, just even back when Halloween 3 was on, I just think it looks nice from a design perspective. So I just wanted to call those out as being pretty strong and stronger than we've seen in a long time for this series.
Well, since we are starting with positives, I didn't want to jump into that because I thought the last 2, I was probably the hardest on the previous 2 films, but I love those openings. Like you said, I mean, Halloween 4 is like really dope. But yeah, they kind of lost their way a little bit and these like brought it back, but I did not like this one. So the last ones were pretty kind of simple. The fire, it was really cool. The one where it's going backwards, I thought was a cool effect, but this looked wonky to me. Like it didn't look good. And then also too, this was the seed that planted this kind of pit in my stomach, where the whole idea of what I took from this opening of, they start with this original pumpkin and it morphs into different faces, different pumpkins. And I was like, oh no, they're trying to teach me something. Or like, this is a message. And that's kind of what this movie evolved into. And I didn't particularly think it looked good. And it planted that seed of like, oh no, I'm about to be like, tried to taught it like
I
don't know. I think the other ones were. I think they. Go ahead, Bob.
I think the font harkening back to Halloween 3 is really fucking cool, and I think like this movie is ultimately its purpose is to deliver a message more so than it is to deliver you an adequate Halloween movie. Which I think the ideas that they are playing with in this movie make sense for a Halloween film. Like, you can have those ideas and those themes woven into a Halloween story in a way that serves the overall story and characters that everybody is showing up to see. But they seem to choose they don't do that. They create new characters that nobody is particularly interested in, or at least I guess speaking for myself, I'm not. But like to relay those messages and themes instead of using the characters that they already have in play, that they've gone out of their way to bring back from the original movie and from the first two movies in this trilogy here. And like, you've got enough to work with here to tell these stories and make your points, and they just sort of like sideline all of that. Everything that like people are showing up to see, they just sideline that, and they tell you this love story. They lay out this love story between Allison and Corey, and then like at the very end they seem to like tag on the conclusion of the trilogy that everybody's actually showing up to see. It's almost an afterthought. It's like mind-blowing that's how they would choose to end this trilogy to me.
Well, are we still doing positives?
Sorry.
Well, no.
So the ideas, the positive nugget in that are the ideas and themes that they're playing with are good, and I think they make sense to be included in a Halloween movie, like the creation of Corey becoming a monster through like the fear and paranoia and like the blame and bullying and like abuse by the hands of the town folks, and like, you know, his peers in school and his mother and his uncle and just everybody that's around him is treating him like shit because of some accident that happened, and they're like projecting this Michael Myers evil onto him and making him into that evil when apparently he was really just a nice kid at the start. So like that makes sense, but like you can do that in a way that serves the overall purpose a lot better.
I have a lot to say on that, but
me too. A lot of negative things to say on that.
Sure.
That's the thing, is like, fuck the positives. We'll get back to them, maybe.
Let's go on that idea. Yeah, take it, Randy. I know what you're going to say.
Yeah. Here's the thing. This whole the previous movie, we just talked about this, Halloween Kills. We were pretty hard on it because it took some pretty bold stances within the lore that it was establishing. And I don't remember if I said this in the episode or not, but my feeling towards it, I think, has been pretty consistently the same, which is that anytime you try and stack extra lore on Michael Myers' specific back, that's when these sequels fail. That's what makes them worse, because the more you explain the dark, the less scary the dark is. And so like, that's why 2018, I feel, looking back, having seen it again recently also, is pretty fucking great. Like, it's a good fucking movie to me. And I think that that's largely because the lore that they add has everything to do with Laurie Strode and nothing to do with Michael Myers.
Sure.
Laurie is the one who has transitioned, who has these new things to say. The world around Michael has changed, but Michael is the same Michael for the most part. And I think that is what's lacking in Kills, especially at the end. The big error is the huge swerve, which is basically outright stating the supernatural level of him and like showing us that he's able to withstand a gang style fucking death, like a like 10, 15 people beating and shooting and choking
and cutting,
to death,
stabbing,
and none of it sticks. None of it fucking sticks. He just goes into hiding and then kills Judy Greer, poor Judy Greer, who's
I know, dude.
doing whatever she does.
Fucking A.
So,
Right.
Bob, you were talking about this idea of like the projecting the evil onto him and things like that. But where I thought Randy was going to take this is it kind of gives me this like kind of Joker popped into my mind.
Oh, yeah.
And a little bit of Rob Zombie's original Halloween, where you want to, or like, they want to make this despicable character understandable and sympathetic. And honestly, we kind of talked about this a little bit with the new Dahmer. Like, oh, are we going to watch this Dahmer where it kind of
makes you feel bad?
He was a kid and look at how he's picked on, and like it gives it some sort of justification. Or I mean, it's okay for like understanding, but when you're dealing with these fictional characters, and especially one that's this kind of love interest, it felt like kind of gross to me and like soured my stomach a little bit about one, because they didn't even do it well. Like from a storytelling standpoint, they did it very, very poorly. But I don't like the idea of this community, you know, getting its just rewards for creating this monster. You know, you did this and this is what happens. He was a good kid and now look what you did. You've turned him into this monster and it's your fault. And so of course he's going to go on this killing spree. And they forced it so poorly too. That scene where they meet the dad in the bar. And he's like, I was gonna forgive this kid. You know, I was gonna do it, but I just saw the evil in his eyes. And I was like, what is this bullshit? I don't like making this sympathetic killer type of deal. And I don't know. I just don't like this approach.
I don't hate that idea of being included in a Halloween movie, but I do think they pull it off poorly for several reasons, but I think one of the many reasons is that messaging becomes extremely convoluted when you have this character come face to fucking face with Michael Myers, and Michael Myers has him by the throat and chooses to let him go because he looks into his eyes and I guess sees himself in this kid or like relates to this kid or has empathy with this kid, or any of that is fucking unacceptable when it comes to Michael Myers and doesn't make any sense. But after that moment, that's when this kid fully snaps and goes on his murderous rampage. So if your point of the movie is trying to say like this town created this monster, that is not true here. He only becomes the monster after he locks eyes with Michael Myers. So what the fuck are you trying to say exactly?
This is the problem. I don't think that's what this movie is going for. And the problem is that I've never seen a movie that is simultaneously so blunt in what it's trying to say and so inaccurate in explaining what they're trying to say.
Yeah.
Like they just outright say, like they do buzzwords and catchphrases. It's you know, evil dies tonight all over again. Like at least that was one consistent message throughout the thing is, oh, it's a horde of people that are sick of this bullshit and have a collective trauma as a town. There's something interesting to that, but they like go off the rails and then it becomes, oh, now we're the monsters. Like there's that level of bluntness, but not that level of focus in this movie. They don't really focus. I think that what the movie is trying to get at is not that like, oh, this poor kid, he's, you know, put upon because they created him as a monster. I think this is more ponderance on trauma, like because this goes on to this little like spiel at the beginning about how like, oh, every few months we'll see some crazy thing happen that is just ripples from Michael's wake and this sort of like thinking. And this is just another example of that. And he just like the natural conclusion of that. I think this movie is getting at like the evil in all men and all that stuff. It's trying to. But and like how you grow that is by distrusting each other or whatever. And there's something you could find interesting in that, but that is just not what fucking Halloween is. This is like this, the evil in us. Like they got so hung up on the word fucking evil and it works in the first one because you're talking about a person who has no empathy, who has no ability to has no fucking chill and just wants to kill people, wants to kill babysitters, and wants to do his little pathological thing. That is one thing that I can that you can understand, and you can call it evil, and it makes sense to people. But like this kid, it's not like the outgrowth of evil that is growing in him or whatever. It doesn't make any sense. And what I was trying to get at earlier, talking about how like they added the supernatural element, which is just always the death knell of a good Halloween movie, is they kind of retcon it a little bit. And they say, at the end of the movie, they're like, oh, now I see you're just a man who's about to stop breathing, which aside from being a badass line in a vacuum is like then I feel like that's them reacting to people's problem with the supernatural elements of the first one. The problem is, in my mind, they introduced another supernatural element by Michael Myers transferring his killer prowess to this kid who got beat up by a bunch of band nerds. Like, I don't understand how that works. It seems very much, you could interpret that as him being like, oh, I see you're evil. You're a chaotic person like me. It's good that you're out there because we're making chaos for people. Okay, I guess. But it doesn't explain how he suddenly like got these abilities to like just kind of like wave off all these injuries. He doesn't feel pain anymore. And all of a sudden everybody can tell that he's Michael Myers-ish now. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? This kid's dad that he killed, he has no relation to Michael Myers. He doesn't know what Michael Myers looks like in his eyes. Like, what is he seeing? Like, this is not a thing.
Yeah.
You can't just see evil in people. That's not how this shit works.
I agree. It's fucking baffling. Like, I don't know if that's really what they're trying to portray. I mean, there's evidence to support that and evidence to like go against that. It's fucking like confusing.
And that's part of the problem.
And like,
yes,
but
it's
like
confusing.
After he locks eyes with Michael and then like he kills the hobo and then he goes home and he washes the blood off of his hands in the sink, we get this point of view shot from him as we do with Michael Myers. And like we hear him heavy breathing and it sounds like he's got a mask on, but he doesn't. So it's like, okay, so we have to assume now that some part of Michael is like in this kid, but then he goes on the rest of the movie and when he's not murdering people, he's just like the same fucking dweeb that we've always seen, and he's like talking and like tripping and like trying to lay Mac on like Allison, but like he's just murdering the shit out of people now, whereas before he was getting the shit kicked out of him by band nerds. So it's like, what the
Dude,
is he Michael or is he not? Like, what the fuck are you doing?
This is like a Spider-Man 3 Tobey Maguire style.
Kind of. This is, to me, I think, and like having heard Jamie Lee Curtis, who I love Jamie Lee Curtis. I think she's super fun and she's a nice person, but also she gets pretty high on her bullshit, especially talking about these movies. And I just have this feeling that like, she feels like, or I don't know, I don't want to project that actually. Let's just say I'm going to expect to see several think pieces on YouTube from other fans or other whatever that are arguing in favor of this movie because this is a movie about like the birth of a school shooter. This is an allegory for all these societal ills. I think it is, but it's so fucking unfocused and it serves nothing to do that. Also pretty fucking grim to have this kid who, he's put upon or whatever and all this shit, but have him like, I don't know, go completely off the deep end. And I don't know, it just seems like if that's your goal, there's a lot of shit that you are being pretty fucking insensitive with about it. And if that's not your goal, then you sure as hell are not leading the proper breadcrumbs. It's simultaneously blunt and unfocused. It's just stabbing wildly in the dark at shit.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I think there's also like, I remember like way back right after we talked about Halloween Kills, we were reading articles when they were gearing up to go into production for this movie about how it's like a 4-year time jump. And we're like, wow, I wonder why that is. It's going to be set in 2022. And like David Gordon Green was talking loosely about there being like, like COVID was a thing. There was a pandemic. Yeah. And I was like, man, I hope that's not like a major theme in this movie. And I don't think it's a major theme, but like COVID and like what that has sort of spawned throughout.
Don't even know you have it.
Throughout the country. Exactly.
As
it
Laurie.
Is definitely included heavily in her memoir specifically and other themes like throughout this. But like there's, I don't know. Yeah, she's talking. She talks about like the fear throughout the community, but she refers to it in the sense of like that it's a sickness or an infection, and like you know there's like an external evil and internal evil, and internal evil's worse because you might not know that you're infected with it, and you can either like lock your door and find your own resolve, or you can open your door and let the evil in, and there's like this sort of like quarantine correlation with that, and like it's sort of baked into like her memoir specifically. And like I have to assume that was going to be way more heavy-handed than it ended up being, because like they probably realized like maybe we should fucking chill a little bit with all of like the messaging. Like it could have been worse than it is, but it's in there. I don't know.
Well, I made a note that like part of my big problems with like 2018 was like some of the messaging. You know, I said in 2018 my favorite part was the middle section where it's Michael going around on Halloween night. And I think the consistency is when these people are making a slasher horror film, they're actually quite successful in a lot of elements, the gores, the kills. That was the best part about Halloween Kills as well. When they want to teach me something, when they want to say, you know, the podcasters in the first one of like, oh, the way we consume this type of media and, you know, like what it does to us and things like that. I hated that element. And I feel like that's only gotten worse as these movies progress. Each movie has a bigger message that takes over more and more of the plot. And it's, you know, I'm not saying you can't have some kind of deeper meaning in horror movies. I'm not saying like just shut up and give me Michael Myers killing on a Halloween night. I'm just saying like these people are not capable of crafting it well. They are like blunt as shit. And the dialogue in this is like on par with some Rob Zombie dialogue. It makes no goddamn sense for the characters that are speaking. And it literally is just a mouthpiece to deliver some blunt ass message that's like not particularly good or well developed anyways. It's terrible.
To some extent, I disagree. Like, I don't want to relitigate 2018. I know we see differently on that.
Yeah.
I don't think that what they're I think their messaging was pretty minuscule there, certainly by comparison. And I think that it was at least a more manageable focus of what they were trying to say. Like saying like a horror movie pondering on how we consume media is not particularly new, and it's been done better, but I don't think it did poorly, and it was bolstered by enough good, solid Halloween shit to get me where I wanted to go on the entertainment side, so that I could follow along with the other part. Kills, like I let's not relitigate that, but it starts to edge the other way down the line, and then we get to this one, and it just seems like any level of like understanding of why the characters do things is secondary to what, like you guys say, like it's what they're trying to get at. In particular, Allison falling in love with this guy. Like I can understand, two traumatized people, they fall for each other, whatever, but it's happened so quickly and with so little chemistry. And then later on, like the thing that killed me is when she walks in on Laurie with the knife and with her boyfriend lying dead on the ground, and she immediately thinks that this woman, like how like it's nonsense that this person who has been rescued by this woman over and over again, who was right about everything for 2 fucking movies, is suddenly like, do you think she just killed your boyfriend just to kill him,
Grandma?
Just because she didn't trust him? Like,
well,
like it's a hyper overreaction, and it seems
it's terrible.
It's like it just doesn't make sense for her character to me. It's like she would come in and be horrified, certainly, but would she immediately, even if she's mad at her, which I don't understand why she's mad in the first place? Why would you assume that? Why would you not call the fucking police and try and save your boyfriend's life?
Earlier in the movie, to that point, like we find other people in the community who like point the finger at Laurie Strode and blame her for
which is nonsense,
taunting the boogeyman and making him come out of hibernation or whatever the fuck, and killing all these townsfolk, and like it's her fault. And at a certain point in the movie, Allison looks at her grandmother and like full on like says to her face, "I blame you for the death of my friends and my parents." It's like, bitch, you were there. You know it's not her fault. You were there. That doesn't make a lick of sense.
Anybody who's alive is because of Laurie Strode. For you to say that shit is like that is not just retconning. That's like offensive retconning, where it's like this character is just there to deliver the next step of whatever narrative beat they want to hit. She is not there to be a living, breathing person anymore. I don't think so.
Well, also, it doesn't make sense from what these movies have shown us. She spent the whole second movie where the townspeople actually become aware of Michael. We see the regular townsfolk of Haddonfield of today become aware of Michael Myers. Laurie's in the hospital the whole time. She does nothing in the second movie. In the first movie, she's at home. Nobody knows,
and she's the only one right in the first movie. Yes.
So that doesn't make a lick of sense. Blame Tommy Doyle. Blame,
my boy TD.
Blame herself. She's part of the lynch mob. Like, she is the one that is dead set. I'm going to go out and kill Michael Myers. And it's not like, here's the thing. I was interested in some of that thinking, but like, it just got way out of hand and absurdly over the top.
Yeah.
But like, she went. It was her. It was her that went. And like, you could say, oh, she's just lashing out or whatever. But like, I don't know, man. I don't really buy it. I don't think that somebody who like proved on several occasions in the previous two movies that she is capable, like her grandmother, of keeping her cool in horrible situations would suddenly not be able to do that. She barely reacted when her dad died. Like, fucking, your boyfriend now dies and you're immediately like flipping the script on everything you know about your grandmother.
Well, and that's just the whole relationship. It just doesn't work because, like there's no chemistry.
None.
And I can, if I'm being forgiving or understanding, I could say, the idea, like you said, of two traumatized people kind of finding each other and finding an understanding in each other. But that is
being afraid of it. Sure.
Yeah, that's never, the fact that I'm even talking about this in a Halloween film is a fucking like mistake because this direction is bad. But yeah, they just don't. It really is just a plot device. It's not good narration. It's not good storytelling. It's literally get some people into place. Man, this whole Corey thing it's so bad.
Dude, they're really trying to show the corruption of trauma and of demonizing people or whatever, but it is just so fucking hard to swallow. If it had been Tommy Doyle this time, it might have been an easier thing, not as a boyfriend figure, but like as somebody who was brought down the pipeline towards being kind of evil himself.
Yeah.
Like
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he kind of did that last time as a town. They kind of did that, but it was so over the top and ridiculous by the end. And it didn't even fucking matter in the end. So
even like coming into this movie, I was kind of prepared. I was prepared for a Friday the 13th 5 type situation. I was prepared for an alternative Michael. I wasn't excited about it, but I was like, I can see if they wanted to somehow keep this going or to, kind of carry some of their themes that they brought up in Kills of like, it kind of carries on through other people. I could not have anticipated this direction. And by like halfway in, I texted Bob and I was like, I can't believe that this is real. It feels like a prank.
It's a different movie.
It feels like a joke. Yeah. I couldn't believe it.
So I've read like a couple interviews with David Gordon Green online, and like for some reason he had in his mind that the third installment of this trilogy had to be a love story, and he said something along the lines of like he wanted to tell a love story between Laurie Strode and Michael Myers. Obviously that's impossible, he couldn't do it, so he created this Corey character so that he could tell a love story. It's like, dude, if that's what you wanted to do, you shouldn't have made a fucking Halloween movie, especially not the final installment in a trilogy. You're supposed to close out the story that you've been telling over the past 2 movies, not just all of a sudden tell a new fucking story that doesn't make any sense. This fucking kid Corey kills like 10 people. Michael Myers kills 3, and one of them, actually 2 of them, are like half dead by the time he gets there, and he just finishes them off. Like, Michael Myers is like this weak hermit living in a sewer, and like Corey just rips the mask off of him with no fucking problem. And after he lets Corey go, and like Michael Myers exists in this movie to just be taken advantage of by this Corey kid and then also just be murdered by Laurie at the end, which is really what everybody showed up for. That the last 10, 15 minute sequence, that's like why we're in the seats, but like we got to sit through this weird, awkward ass love story for an hour and 20 minutes before we get that. Like what a terrible fucking idea this movie is. Why?
This thing is the thing is, this is just side pitch here. Corey, two traumatized teens meet. They are scared to be with each other because they are maligned in their communities. One of them stumbles into a violent situation where he accidentally kills another person and discovers that's where his powers. That is an interesting other movie.
Yes.
That is not
completely
a
agree.
Halloween movie.
Yeah.
You could, I don't know, man. It's just like he was done with Halloween, but had to make a third movie. It's like what it feels like.
I think that is true.
Well, and not just that. Goddamn, this motherfucker. This motherfucker. Truly.
Corey or David or both.
David, I'm calling your ass
person.
out. I hope you're listening.
I like David, but
fuck this. Because I called this out back in Kills. He did things like he fucking knew what he was doing. And he even in some interviews and stuff, like, strutted his stuff about the direction he's taking Michael Myers or the direction he's taking these films. This film is such a doo-doo in the shorts of that, because they just make a brief mention of, they demolished Michael's house. I mean, that was the whole thing. Is he supernatural? Dude. Is he, the mask, him fucking warping and getting his ass beat? And it doesn't matter to anything. We were saying we won't know if about, Halloween Kills until this next movie come out, because are they going to pay anything off? They paid nothing. They did. Not only did they not pay it off, it's gone. It's nothing. It's not even telling a story.
Yeah, they just forgot. They retconned it.
They're like, I don't know what the house means. Let's fucking bulldoze it. Fuck it.
You wrote it. You're doing this trilogy. You wrote and directed. You can do what you want, and you wrote your own self into a corner. You just demolish the house.
My theory is not that they wrote themselves into a corner. It's that they found out just how little the fans and audience members appreciated that direction and decided, oh fuck, we got to find a whole new direction. It's got to be a love story still. So they spent 40 minutes with a new character. Yeah, no, they were contractually obligated to make a movie. No, that's the problem, is they think that I don't think that they put themselves in a lose-lose situation. Either they continue the strain that they started that sucked, or they start a new strain that maybe and in all likelihood will suck because you're abandoning a bunch of shit, but they got to hope and upon hope that their new idea is good enough to surpass anybody's qualms with that. And of course it didn't.
I've thought about this in other franchises. Somebody actually, when I woke up today, I checked the Slack before I got on and everything like that. And actually, this is a thought I had last night before I went to bed. And I saw it pop up this morning of comparing this trilogy to the newest Star Wars trilogy. And I was like, I really kind of felt that. And I always think this, because I thought it during the Star Wars trilogy, I thought about some other movies that kind of pop up where they're trying to revitalize something and they try to build more out of it than that's actually there. If I found myself in this position where I had this really good idea for 2018, and then I'm now contractually obligated to do a trilogy or something, and I'm just racking my brain and I can't figure it out, man, I would immediately make a blank Reddit handle. I'd make a blank Slack handle, and I would go on and I would I would pose the question, if you could remake a Halloween movie, what would you do? Because people come up with the smartest shit, fans who know the content well, I read things and be like, yeah, that's a good idea. Or at least this is unacceptable to have this movie the way it is. It's just, I don't
accept it.
It's unacceptable because if this was the first movie of 3, okay, it's a little like it's more understandable, I guess.
Yeah.
But when you follow a path, when you are writing and telling the story that you want to write, and then you get here and this is in no way connected to those stories that don't finish those threads, that's unacceptable to me. That makes you like, I will say like, fuck you, because you dropped the ball. You did your job so poorly. You failed completely. Like 100%. You made the previous movies worse because you were setting up the stuff that we were waiting to finish with you.
Yeah, I don't feel that much hatred for this man who made a dumb move. I don't know. This is a bad movie, but Jesus Christ. To me, this is like...
I mean, I don't want to like herb stomp him or anything, but I just I think he did a bad job, and I wouldn't give him like more... I hate the idea that both of you, that so many people paid to see this movie because this man is gonna keep getting work. And in the same way I get so pissed off at Rob Zombie about why the fuck is this motherfucker stealing money from good artists to make his piece of shit work, that's how I feel about this motherfucker, because he made so much money just slapping the name Halloween onto his horse shit that he now gets to go do an Exorcist trilogy. Fuck David Gordon Green, seriously.
No, I don't agree with any of that shit, dude. Okay. This is like, I don't think that he is like set out to just make money and rip it from our claws like an animal. He was backed into making a trilogy. He accepted money. He did a poor job at a job. Like, who among us, for fuck's sake? And also, the idea of going to Reddit for ideas for your movie is fucking terrible. Terrible idea. Some ideas are smart. Some ideas are terrible.
Fans can come up with great...
They can also come out with bullshit where they make out with Michael Myers.
You can filter through it. Better than this shit.
Well,
I guarantee you there are 10 people out there who can easily, that are film writers that can write a better story.
We do not need to talk about how quality people can write plots on fucking Reddit. That doesn't fucking matter at all.
I think it's a terrible idea.
Yeah, David Gordon Green made a shitty movie. He's fine. It is what it is. I still think 2018 is great. Kills is fine. This is dog shit.
Let's go back to the positives for a second.
Sure.
If we have time.
Yeah, we got time.
Okay. So like one of the positives that I want to point out, I don't have a problem with David Gordon Green continuing to get work. And here is why. I don't want it to be related to anything that we've seen before. I want it to be his own IP because he's got some ideas that he obviously wants to put down on paper and put into something. And I don't think I've seen enough of him doing those sort of dramatic fucking movies of his own.
All of his HBO shows are fucking great.
Okay, well, I haven't seen them, but those are also more comedic, and that's fine. Like Vice Prince,
all the comedies, Righteous Gemstones. Yeah.
And see, that's the thing is like, I don't have a problem with the man getting work. I think that he is capable, just not in the arena of taking a beloved thing that is already very fraught and reviving it. I think he did a great job with 2018, and that maybe put him too big in his britches for the rest of this stuff. But like, I don't want him to see him doing a new Exorcist. What I think positively about this movie and about the franchise that he's put together, this trilogy, is that they look directorially. If you separate out the plot, separate out the baggage that comes with a Michael Myers tale of any kind, they look great. The brutality is great. The action sequences are great. Some of the directing or some of the acting is not so great, and that's because of the writing, and that's his fault. But I don't really I can't bring myself to hate him on the same level that I hate what Rob Zombie put on paper, because that to me was like just gross. And like, it felt like, as much as I think that they both love the franchise in their own way, I don't think that what Rob Zombie was bringing to the table was intended to be like, as I don't know, it just hit me so much worse. It felt so much grosser and more like, it felt more like Halloween 2 felt more like a money grab than anything else to me. And as we talked about, he didn't want to do it. So that's fine. I don't know. I don't see David Gordon Green's directing as the problem.
because he did want to, like, he took the responsibility on, like, I'm going to do this trilogy. And didn't he, another thing that like really sticks in my craw, wasn't he like doing an interview like 2 months ago or 3 months ago where he was like, yeah, we're still trying to kind of figure out that ending. It's like, dude, you get paid so much money to do this.
Yes. I'll agree with that.
That's unacceptable. Like, that's, if that was any other job in the real world, you would be fired. Like, you did a fucking bad job. Like that. We're still trying to end this movie. It's like it comes out in theaters in 2 months.
That is, I mean, that is egregious, but it is not unheard of. Like, there are terrible movies made every year on tight timelines. Like, and this wasn't, I understand, entirely on a tight timeline. But there's
because of COVID.
Late changes is a consistent problem in this franchise, much less like in the broader scheme of Hollywood. I don't think that's inherently like, I don't think it's great, and I don't think it's like an acceptable way of having done things. But I think it's a little much to say that somebody who is capable of putting like some really good shit on screen as being incapable of making any other movie should not be allowed to touch another movie. Maybe not with a pen in his hand.
I just think like,
but as a director,
like, be held like accountable. Like I said, if this was in any other job, he would get fired, not given more money.
Definitely not for us
not
to
given
say.
more responsibility.
Passing judgment on David Gordon Green as a person is fucking ridiculous, and that's not why we're here. We're here to talk about a fucking product, dude. Like, chill the fuck out.
It's garbage.
Talk about the movie. I don't know, man. Honestly, it's about time to land that plane. So, any other points you got to talk about before we do that? I mean, this thing.
Yeah, there's plenty we could talk about.
And I'm not talking about David Gordon Green as a person. I'm saying, like, fuck him as a filmmaker. He did a bad job. If somebody else did a bad job at their job, they wouldn't have that job anymore. And yet, he's given more and more and more money.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Talk to Blumhouse, man. Like, don't talk to me.
Yeah, or talk to James Cameron or any of these other directors that have also made terrible movies.
That's the frustration I get, is because everybody's going to go see this because it has the name Halloween on it. And so this man gets fucking rewarded for dog shit.
That's why they keep making him.
So did fucking whatever, like Resurrection, whatever that rapper's name is. Like, he got rewarded for being in there. He got paid too. And I think that was like,
I seriously doubt Resurrection made as much money as this did.
No, but it was that was a paycheck though. Everybody gets paid in these movies. If people aren't getting paid to make a bad movie, like, that's a whole different thing that you just don't see. Like, that's not the case of any of the bad movies we reviewed this year. So I don't know. People getting paid to do a bad job is pretty standard for almost any production. It's just usually not this big of a person in the procedure. So I don't know.
All right, let's rate this thing out of 5. Juice, how do you feel about Halloween Ends?
All right, let me go down the list. I did not like the intro. The dance scene was shot in an interesting kind of way, but we've covered a lot of Halloween films over the past couple years, and this like Halloween party, like, oh, we're going to a Halloween party, was one of the most like disappointing. I was like, oh, this is it. I was like, who the fuck are these hard ass marching band kids? What? Michael living in the sewer, like, we're literally back to Resurrection at this point. The line, I'll light the match, cringe face. The laugh as Corey goes into the sewer, cringe face. Oh my God, why does he have that knife? Fantasy football talk, laugh out loud. Michael's eyes in Corey, cringe face. The bar scene of him talking about Corey's eyes, cringe face. The problem I have with 2018 is, stop trying to teach me something, fucking David. You can't do it well. Tell some jokes, apparently, because that's all you can do well. I like, anytime you try to say something that seems to have some kind of importance to you, it's terrible. It's garbage. Your dialogue's garbage here. Soundtrack was kind of cool. Oh my God. I hope you find love. Cut to October 31st. Cringe face. I wrote, I'm laughing at how bad this is. Laughing out loud. Laughing in my gut. Like that. Oh my God. He takes Michael's mask. What? He throws Michael, the man who just got beat by 15 people and is not dead. He throws him to the ground and takes his mask. What? Some of these kills are okay. Torch kill, kind of cool. Also kind of sawy, so mixed on that. Oh my God. The head smash with the tongue coming out, I thought looked really goofy and weird. Like, I kind of agree with Randy. Like, most of his like shots and stuff set up look pretty good, but that looked like really bad, like surprisingly bad to me. I don't know why. Also the obsession with the knife. He's got this like rusty ass knife down it. I just rewatched Halloween. He chokes some people, like this whole thing, getting obsessed with these like iconic things, like this knife has to be his knife. It's so stupid. This movie's garbage. It really is garbage. I don't know if it's the worst one, but I would put it in the realm of that, of the worst one. So I don't know. I'm going to give this like, a 0.5 star.
A 5 star.
A solid.
It's solid.
A 0.5 star, and that's going to be for the musical cues. I don't like to Randy's point earlier. I thought part of my defending Halloween Kills was like some of the shots were amazingly set up. I never once did I step back and think like, wow, that's an amazing screenshot like in this film. I didn't get that from this one. And some of the shots look kind of weird. Like I said, the DJ death scene, this is no kills as far as cinematography goes, in my opinion. I don't know what happened, but I don't think it's in this film. So I disagree on that. Bob, out of 5 star, how do you feel about David Gordon Green as a human being?
He seems pretty cool, as far as I can tell. This
Halloween Ends.
This movie, man, it is a hot mess. I think so. The baseline, like the baseline that people expect from a Halloween movie, is to see Michael Myers murder a bunch of people. Or at least murder the majority of people that get killed. And they miss that. They miss that entirely. So,
why?
Like, this is just barely a fucking Halloween movie at the end of the day. We've got this misunderstood kid who gets, bullied and abused and whatnot, and then he goes on a murderous rampage and kills a bunch of folks. And at the very end, we get the final battle between Michael and Laurie, and it's moderately satisfying, and I don't know. I dig the score, and the soundtrack is really baller as well. The opening is okay. The jack-o'-lanterns are fine. I really dig the throwback with the Halloween 3 font. I thought that was really cool. Sort of sets us up to expect something a little bit different from the first 2 movies. Ultimately fell flat, unfortunately. I think the themes and the ideas running through it are interesting and can be used in a Halloween movie in a way that's effective. They did not do that, like creating the creation of like a new monster in a community that's been like battered as horrifically as this one has, makes sense, and I can roll with that to a certain extent. I also think like the Willie the Kid, the radio DJ, it's like, man, they like barely touched on it, but like he is sort of a mouthpiece that the whole community is apparently listening to, and he's spreading, false information over the airwaves, and like his death feels so fucking hollow because we only get like a touch of that, and like we barely know who this character is. He's probably got the most notable death in the movie, to be honest, but like we don't really fucking even know who he is. So like nobody really cares when he dies. You're just like, who is this guy? Like we barely know. The idea again is okay. They just don't. It just feels like so half-assed. We get a cameo from Darcy, the male girl, in that scene as well. She gets killed by fucking Corey, which just makes it like mean so much less. Nobody wants to see this fucking twerp murder people on Halloween.
I wonder if she knew.
Michael Myers kill people on Halloween. I don't know. That's a good question. She might have thought she was getting killed by actual Michael Myers.
He's in costume. Who knows?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
I mean, I guess she would know, but we don't.
I wonder if she would have taken umbrage. She probably just want to be in a fucking Halloween movie.
Yeah,
I
sure.
would.
Get that cameo.
I'd be in the worst. I would put me in Resurrection.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
Yeah, sure.
Everybody else is getting paid. Why not Randu?
Come on.
The final fight
I'll sell out
between Laurie and Michael is fine. It could be better. It could be worse. I feel like just the subtext of like Halloween Kills, which they do state like, oh, now we're the monsters, so like it really just becomes the text, is like the general overall theme of this movie. It's like David Gordon Green was like, I don't think these motherfuckers are hearing me. The kids aren't listening. I gotta fucking beat it into their goddamn heads like, you are the monsters, motherfucker. Do you get it? And it's like, Jesus Christ, yes. Oh my God, we get it. Michael like literally getting stronger after he kills the cop while Corey holds him down so that he can do it, which is fucking ridiculous. Like he like stands up a little straighter and seems to be a little bit stronger. So like he literally does get stronger at the more he kills. So like he is 100% this like supernatural entity, but Laurie Strode can
also
just
a man.
Let him bleed out in the kitchen. Like what the fuck? There's no continuity whatsoever. It's just like scattershot, dude. Like makeup, you can't do both. You can't. You got to do one or the other. All the characters are inconsistent. There's almost no motivations for like really anybody in here. Like, why is all of a sudden Laurie Strode just way more relaxed with her security after the insane, like brutal massacre that happened in 2018? All of a sudden she buys like a normal house and like doesn't have her shotguns or like her lights or security gates or bars on the window. Like she just fucking gave all that shit up and she just starts writing a memoir and like baking pumpkin pies and celebrating Halloween. What the fuck? It doesn't make any sense. Like, why does Allison all of a sudden hate her grandma and like blame all these deaths on her grandma, and then she runs off with this fucking nerd and like falls in love when there's like no romance on the screen whatsoever, but he's got a motorcycle, so that's pretty cool, I guess. And like it's just like so fucking forced, man. Like, why is what's little Lindsay Wallace in this movie at all? She just owns the bar and like plays with tarot cards. Like, why did they bring her back? Her character does nothing at all. Why does Michael try to like stick Laurie's hand in the fucking food processor, like in the like what? That's not what he does. He just fucking kills people. And like when Laurie's hiding in the fucking like the fucking cupboard and she's microwaving her sketty and it pops at just the right time to distract Michael for her to burst out. Like, she fucking timed that sketty microwave situation fucking perfectly, man. She knows her micro. She's got that shit dialed in like a motherfucker. That is the dumbest shit ever. What the fuck, man? No Ben Tramer. Where is Ben Tramer? He's not in this.
I thought he's gonna be plowing her.
Hey, Bob.
Yes.
What score do you give this movie?
I give it a 1 star. It's not the worst Halloween movie, but damn, it's close. Randy, how do you feel?
Well, after that, and after both of your reviews, I feel like I am confident in saying, don't ever anybody come at me talking about Randy rants ever fucking again. Okay? That ship has sailed. Okay, yeah, this is a bad movie. This is a bad Halloween movie, and it's a bad movie overall. It's a bad Halloween movie because, A, not a lot of actual Halloweeniness to it. The second one, Halloween Kills, like, I was able to gloss of a lot more of its problems because it brought the spooky season vibes. This movie mostly does not. I think that party was kind of fun, but it was not spooky enough, and there's like almost no other Halloween business going on in terms of like the season. That disappointed me. It disappoints me that there is a tag team situation where evil is crossing through the eyes, eyeball transmitted disease that is infectious and you don't even know you're infected with it. The heavy handed and also unfocused writing is the biggest culprit. Here's the thing. In all of these movies, I could see a movie that touches on, doesn't focus on necessarily entirely, but touches on these things metaphorically under the surface that works, but they try so hard. They're so heavy-handed, especially in this one throughout. They're so heavy-handed that they actually neglect the things, like Rob said, that bring people to put them in the seats. And that's too egregious for me, man. Like, I'm down with big swings. I'm down whatever, but you really have to have a very fucking crystal clear vision of what you want, and not, to my opinion, I think there was a lot of last minute revisions to this because they're so responsive to what fans think. I think that a lot of the problems with this movie came from the reviews from the last movie. And like, I can't really like fault them for caring what the fans think. I mean, obviously they could be crucified, and they might be, but this is like, it's egregious and it doesn't work. They're trying too hard to make something metaphorical on the surface, and they're not even making their point clearly. They're just loudly saying it. It's a loud dude at the bar who thinks he has a point but can't put it into words, just screaming in the corner and begging people to pay attention to him. And you know, all of that sucks. Positives, I think the movie still looks pretty great. I actually think I have a suspicion there were a few shots in this movie that made me think they were looking to David Lynch for inspiration on shots or on settings or on tone, maybe. There was like a Lost Highway shot, even the font, which I know is a reference to Halloween 3, that whole conversation. But that also, and like maybe this is where the idea came from for me, that font is also like very, very similar, if not the same, to the Twin Peaks Fire Walk With Me / the Return season font that they use for just about everything. That italicized sans serif thing. I think it's Arial, something like that. I don't know. There's a lot of like connective tissue there. The radio station, all that stuff. I think the brutality is still there. I don't think it's as good as previously. So just yet another thing to help me gloss over the problems with this movie. I think that the writing for the individual characters is just so fucking weak. I think Laurie is the only one that like at least they're trying to like give. I feel like there's some level of consistency to what Laurie is throughout this particular movie, but even that is loosey goosey. I think that comes again for a lot from revisions due to what people are saying about your movie, which is why one of the reasons I say like don't go to Reddit. Like you need to be able to come up with this plot yourself. You're just as likely to find 1,000 terrible ideas as you are to find one good one. So just be able to come up with an idea if you're writing this fucking thing. Overall, this is a failure of a movie in my mind, and as a Halloween movie, as a piece of entertaining trash, it doesn't even succeed as much as the previous two. I really loved Halloween 2018, and I think that's why people are reacting and overreacting to some extent over how bad this is, because that one showed so much promise and showed so much like love for what most people like about the Halloween franchise, and it did away with all the shit that they suddenly decided needed to be back in here. And I just don't like it. I think it's bad. I don't think it's the worst. I still think Resurrection is the most obvious money grab, and for me that artless intentions mean so much more to me than artless results. So I think I'd rather have somebody trying and failing than somebody just putting something on screen as a vanity project for their favorite hip hop artist. So that's still my bottom barrel. I'm giving this I think I'm going to give it a 1.5, and that's largely on the back of the action sequences, cinematography, like the look of things. There's a lot more to be said about this movie. We could go on and rant for hours, but I think Rob might have like broken my will to keep going.
Oh wow! I'm proud to wear that. I'll wear that as a badge of honor. Okay.
You scared me, Bob. You scared me.
I can't wait for.
You're supposed to be the best of us, Bob.
I try.
You were supposed to be the good one.
I can't wait for 30 years in the future.
Your fucking tits.
Show grief.
I don't know.
Your fucking.
I don't know. How many years do you think before another Halloween film comes out? Less than
3
5
max.
I was gonna say I can't wait for 30 years down the line where people reflect upon Halloween Ends and go, you know what? That's fucking my favorite. It's amazing.
Dude, the hot takes are already churning out. Yeah, like that. People are not. There's no time to waste when it comes to hot takes. You either like commit right away, and the thing is, like, you can't go backwards in society anymore. You can't decide later that you love something or hate something or whatever. You have to have the highest and most definitive opinion right now. Right, which is why us saying that Halloween Kills isn't as bad as we remember. Like, our credibility just tanked, buddy.
Yeah,
it's done.
We lost everybody.
Whatever little we had, it's gone.
On the Slack, some people are like, "Oh, this is still better than Kills," and I was like, "What?"
I don't feel that.
I don't agree at all.
Our aggregate is
the Johns aren't in this movie.
I know the Johns do. Going back to Kills, I was like, the Johns.
The
Johns, man.
Ass.
Every viewing I've had since the first has made me like them so much more.
Yeah.
Instead of the Johns, we get these shitty ass band kids. Like, what the fuck? Our 1 star. Our aggregate is a solid 1 fucking star. Let's get into our Rotten Tomatoes segment and see what the critics and users think about Halloween Ends.
Certified fresh to death.
All right, ladies and germs, this is the Rotten Tomato segment in which I'm going to get these gentlemen to guess with the best of their abilities what the critics and user score is for Halloween Ends on RottenTomatoes.com. Now, it's a fairly recent movie still. Obviously, it's came out this week, but it's also a big one. So there's 158 critic reviews counted and tallied here. I'll start with Juice today. Juice, where do you think that the 158 critics fall on the 0 to 100% positive spectrum?
I think it's going to be low, but I first it seems like everything I was seeing was negative. But then, like you said, everybody's got to have the hot takes, and I think that has given this a little bit of cushion. So I think it's gonna be below 50%, but I think there's gonna be a little bit of bounce up as like a reaction against the negative of no, they're telling a beautiful story. So I'll say 40%.
Okay. Bob, where do you fall on that spectrum?
Did y'all see Corey's mom was just obsessed with custard? Did y'all pick up on that at all? She's always talking about custard or watching like a show about how to make custard. Anything? Anyway,
no.
It's gonna be.
I saw that somebody posted about her cup.
Yeah, that was fucking weird. She just had it was like somebody took their finger in the spaghetti sauce and just slipped it around the set dresser. Man, they kind of fucked that.
Also, spaghetti was a damn character in this film. Jesus Christ!
It made me hungry.
Nobody knows how to make anything except fucking spaghetti.
She was like, fucking Corey was texting at the
That's
table.
Haddonfield's famous dish.
Corey's texting at the table, and she's like, "Boys who keep secrets don't get custard for dessert."
Oh.
Jesus fucking Christ. And then when he kills her,
the point of this movie is to make us hate all of Haddonfield as much as possible. And that's like built into their confused metaphor. And it makes it less fun to watch because we don't have any fun people like the Johns
naughty
anymore.
boys don't get custard for dessert.
And one guy who's like, I hope you find love. And that's like the nicest guy in the whole movie just gets like 2 lines. Is like, I hope you find love. Sorry, you're getting kicked out by your mom and have to live in a fucking murder house.
The shot with fucking Corey standing by the bush outside the house when Laurie looks out the window. Like, you motherfuckers. It's a 30%.
Also,
I'm going with that.
They literally
30%
brought everybody back for all of these films except Ben Tramer.
Everybody.
How did they not bring Ben
He's going to be the next.
Rude.
If they don't do a full reboot, he's the next fucking sequel for sure. He's going to be the Paul Rudd lead. He's going to be doing that. Okay. 30% from Bob, 40% from Juice, and going to give it to Juice. Very, very close. 41%. Good answer.
That is generous.
Yeah, that is far too
158. I think time will tell if that's going to stay that high or not.
I think we've covered this entire franchise over the past couple years. I'm happy to put it behind us, but I think we've gotten down into the teens as far as ratings go.
Oh yeah, I mean, some of them are so blatant. Like, I don't know. That's a whole. Let's not go there. We have too much to cover. Bob, I'm going to let you go for the audience score first. There's over 1,000 audience scores already verified. So where do you think those audience members place this film on the spectrum?
And fucking Corey takes the bandage off of his hand, and Allison's like, "Oh no, you're infected!" Like literally infected by Michael Myers.
Dude, blunt as fuck.
And then the chick who's banging the Dr. Mathis, like she keeps calling him Dr. Mathis as like they're about to bang. It's like it's weird. It's weird. Like call him Chuck or whatever the fuck his name is.
I think it's supposed to be weird, but
it
doesn't make it easier to watch.
Up and like puts his hands like on the window.
They're clearly making some Jesus allegory there. Am I wrong? The hurt hand with the blood and the stigmata. I mean, why though?
Dude, that creepy that doctor was so like, ew. He's so cringy. I don't know. This has got to be fucking, I don't know. Give me the 35, I guess.
35 from Bob. Juice, where are you going with it? Where are you going?
People. It was 41%. I think it's going to be pretty close. Honestly, I think it's going to be pretty similar. I'm going to bump it up just a scotch and say 45.
45. All right. So Bob 35, Juice 45. Man, you guys are just 5 points up on this one, both of you. And Juice, good instincts yet again, but not as good as last time. 57% positive.
Wow.
57. Here's the thinking right here. There's hot takes abound, but they're mostly coming from people whose jobs don't depend on their takes. So
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
there's less, I feel like, for some critic who is supposed to be skilled in knowing something about film to come in and give this a positive review, boy, they better have some thinking behind them, and I don't know where they're going to find it.
Yeah.
Well, the best thing about this movie is I just got a hell yeet sweet.
I deserved one,
ugly motherfucker.
but I didn't get it.
I deserve one.
I deserved my sweet.
I just want what I deserve.
I deserve my custard. I've been a good boy.
Oh, God.
I stand by my ethnic slur.
I can't believe this movie exists. I remember that feeling. I'll remember that till the day I die.
God,
Just
till the
text him,
day
Bob.
Man, I
Bob.
hope you forget it.
Damn.
Like for your sake, I hope you do get to.
Just like Corey's.
I've forgotten my mother's face, but I still know
I
that
remember
feeling
the
of
day.
watching the Boogeyman.
when David Gordon Green fucked me in the ass with no lube. I'll never forget that.
Personally,
feeling. David. No lube. God. Randy, you got a negative review you want to read about this?
At least these reviews are always a lot of fun.
yeah. So
Exactly,
here's the critics'
yeah.
consensus. Critics' consensus reads as follows: Halloween ends for now anyway with a freak. Oh, okay. Halloween ends for now anyway. Ha ha ha. With a frequently befuddling installment that's stabbed, slashed, and beaten by a series of frustrating missed opportunities. I don't think that's entirely wrong, but it's also worded too cutesy. Spider-Man swinging into theaters.
Damn.
Yes. So let's read just a random negative review. Maybe they're funny. Here we go. All of this lofty thematic stuff feels very cheap and insincere because at the end of the day, this is a slasher movie and not a very tense or effective slasher movie. That's simultaneously right, but also seems to intimate that you can't have a slasher movie that with deeper thinking, and fuck
That's
that
what
thinking.
That's what I don't like too about all these like takes coming out. It's because the swing the other way, the hot take the other way is like, oh, people just want what they've seen 12 other times. They just want. It's like, no motherfucker.
Definitely
I want
do not
them
want that.
to tell the story that they set up. That I'm paying for the movie that's where I'm going to see. Like
I'm okay with big swings. Like it's not a problem. Yeah, exactly. Like I don't have any problem with taking big swings, but like you can miss. Is that not believable that somebody could try really hard to do something new and it not land? It's happened in this franchise numerous times. Every time now. Like
I think we could write a better Halloween movie at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. Almost anybody could write a better Halloween story than this.
Even on Reddit, they could.
And we're gonna have Laurie say, "Just show grief your yabos,"
and it's better. That's all. That's all. That's all. God damn. All right. There's like hardly any trivia on this. There's we don't need to get into it. We're skipping trivia. Let's talk Cooter of the week.
Straight chillin'. Cooter of the week.
Juice. Why is David Gordon Green a Cooter?
Cooter's character type and a straight chillin' exclusive. Cooter must hit 3 of these 5 points to be considered a Cooter, but we want the Cooter with the most points. The 5 points of Cooterdom are writing a terrible Halloween script. First name David. The 5 points
Last
of
name Gordon Green.
The 5 points of Cooterdom are sexual deviance, manipulation, smug arrogance, overall look and attire, and overall patheticness. Boys, who's our Cooter of the week?
I would like to submit, because we've already joked about it, that let's not do the directorial Cooter because it's kind of a cop out at this point.
I already said fuck David.
Your
Gordon
boy
Green,
Corey.
So.
I think, I don't know, man. I think Corey's got to be, right?
It's gotta be. So
he's basically like an incel stand-in by the end of this movie.
I think
the incel feelers were out.
He's definitely manipulating Allison. Like, she wants him to, like, quote, light the match or whatever, but she does not realize that means murder a bunch of innocent people. So, like,
yeah, and also he set it up where they could have left. He was like, leave with me tonight, and like doesn't show up at the diner.
Right, yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Yep. And also, like, if I can't have her, no one will. Come on.
Four Eyes.
Oh, God.
Bob, for the record, was a marching band kid.
But yeah,
with
Bob was
glasses.
a hard ass marching band.
Yeah,
buy me
Bob's
some
got
beer,
his
you little
Letterman jacket.
I
and
used
his
to-
fucking
I used to-
drumstick.
I used to ride around our boys' literal convertible LeBaron.
Yeah, the LeBaron.
Just twirling my drummy sticks out the window there, just beating wholesale
drummy
ass on
sticks.
nerds, you know?
Oh, you won't buy me beer, you little bitch.
I guess I'll fucking have to kick your ass and throw you off a bridge.
Yeah.
And have
that was
like
me.
5 altercations in the same 2 locations.
Right. We just keep running into each other.
'Cause we only
Manipulation.
go to 2 places.
Manipulation
Yes.
for sure.
Um,
Arrogance. He's like got a touch of it.
He
but
becomes arrogant, but
he
it's
does,
sort of
yeah.
meant to be implied as him like losing sense with reality.
Yeah.
But like the arrogance, like it doesn't hurt. I can't. Basically, like I can't feel anymore. I am a mega killer now. Like it's
I'm a bad boy with a motorcycle. Let's.
a bad boy.
We're gonna.
I keep Mike Myers on my bitch seat.
Dude, there was a discussion today.
Michael Myers had
Let
to
him talk,
ride.
Juice.
Had to ride on that motorcycle. He had to, right? Because what's the other option? Did fucking Corey roll into Michael's
He took
little,
the bus.
little sewer pit house and was like, "Hey man, we're gonna show up at this address right here. Here it is, and we're gonna murder this fucking doctor because he didn't give my girlfriend the fucking promotion she deserves.
Dude.
So I'll ride my motorcycle over and just wait for your ass to walk." Like he had to ride on the motorcycle,
Michael-
right? He had to.
Dude, I don't know. Michael's magical. He's able to geolocate his mask at Laurie's new house using the power of something.
No.
Like,
The
power of
mask
love.
was there because fucking Corey was wearing it. That's why.
I know, but
would
how did he
Michael
know it was
Myers know
there?
that?
Oh,
Like,
I don't know, man. He was riding on
That's
the
what I'm
fucking
saying.
motorcycle. I don't know. He's
okay, whatever. Not at that point, but that's a whole other conversation.
There was
It's all
also the
inconsistent and
discussion.
bad.
There's also discussion about like Corey being hot and desirable, like being compared to
Oh,
Skeet.
I think the actor's a good-looking dude. That's
Sure.
all.
Really,
Yeah,
I
agree.
did
Yeah.
not get that at all.
I think he's a handsome looking dude, but I think
I could
his
see it being
performance
overlooked in this movie.
is like
I
fucking
thought his
insane.
he was like dweeb to the max. At least Billy Loomis
Yeah,
is,
but that can be
supposed to
attractive.
be the
Like-
desirable boyfriend of the hot lead actress.
Well, he's the bad
great.
boy, yeah.
He's got
Yeah.
that like weird. Like,
Corey
it's like,
is the
If you can find
incel
Skeet attractive,
wiener.
I think
we can all find.
but he's a
Skeet
good-looking
attractive.
dude, and that, you can be as much of an incel wiener as Skeet Ulrich and still get people licking your hot. So
Yeah, I think he's a good looking
I
dude, but
did.
he's got this like weird forced awkward smirk. Like when he's smirking, you can tell he's forcing it, and it's awkward. And it's like this is not.
he's forced to go
this
to
is not a real
extremes with that.
person here, and it's like very distracting for sure. But like I don't know.
I think that's supposed to be part of like a growing insanity, and like that can be tough to pull off with any sort of like aplomb
Dude,
or with any
Corey
sort of
ain't no Billy
capability.
Loomis. I'm gonna say that right now.
I agree as a character, but I also think that attractiveness wise, they're the fucking same. They're good looking young
they're-
men who are
Sure.
desirable.
Who'd you
to
bang,
people
Billy
who like-
or Corey? Who you going with?
Why do I have
why
to
or?
choose?
Don't limit my understanding of hot boys. Okay, hunky boys are my business, and business is good.
God damn, Randy's just plowing through them. Let me get. What are we doing? Is this man a cooter?
Nothing good.
Is he?
Yeah, sure, he's a cooter.
All right, yeah,
his
that's-
look and attire. Yeah, he mimics Michael Myers' whole look because he doesn't know what else to do because he's an idiot. Yeah,
Smug arrogance.
He
Also,
grows
like
that smug
all
arrogance.
the overall patheticness when he goes in,
It's
even
all
though
pathetic.
he takes the mask from Michael, he's like, "You got something that I need." Like the mask? You've been stabbing people all night long. You've been stabbing
masks
people all night long.
Are not exclusive to Michael.
I hated that little scarecrow mask.
I did too. That was a bad looking mask.
Oh my god.
So dumb.
Oh my.
They could have picked a actual like kind of spooky mask and let him like, oh, this is his version of the Michael mask, and that would have at least made a kind of sense to me.
That would have put your stamp on this franchise a little better.
Oh my god. It's just not
now people are going to be doing fan art of that fucking scarecrow mask, and it's going to be unfortunate for all of us.
Scary at all. Oh my.
Give him one of the skull masks from Halloween 3. Why not make another callback to Halloween 3? Do that.
That would have been
do the pumpkin mask. Do the witch. One of them. Like I know we referenced them in the last one, so we know they exist in this.
Dude, the skeleton one would have been.
The skeleton would have been pretty dope. Yeah, he's just
anyway. We're
you already had
allowing ourselves to complain.
They were sitting in the props like section.
Like he's just not. He's not a frightening individual, and it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. Sure, Corey's a Cooter. We got him. We locked him up. Whatever. He's a Cooter. That's fine.
That's fine. I don't want to talk about him anymore.
We're done with it. We're skipping what we've been watching. We're getting to our Hotline Screams. Let's do it.
Hotline Scream.
This movie's got us all fucked up, man. Damn.
Dude, this fantastic.
I am untethered and my rage knows no bounds.
I think Kills was the most even keeled one. As hot as that one was, I think Kills was like pretty chill on our discussion.
I'd like to apologize on behalf of Straight Chilling. Offer us some grace.
What? No, let's not do that. We never do that.
We have gotten worked up.
Oh my goodness. We got all the voicemails in the world. First up, we're going to hear from our boy Matt. Let's hear what he's got to say.
Hey guys, it's Matt. I'm calling in to answer your prompt about what I'd like to see the Simpsons Treehouse of Horror do. First of all, I'm not a Simpsons guy, so if they've done something similar to this, I apologize. Please don't kill me. But I think it'd be cool if they did a parody of Scream, where Lisa played Jamie Kennedy's Randy character, and they go over the rules of being in a horror movie. And then maybe they could make fun of how horror movies have evolved, and there's enlightened horror, and how like The Nun is supposed to be a good movie, but it's really horrible. Like just go into those kind of jokes, playing the old horror movies from the 1900s against these newer horror movies. So I'm looking forward to hearing the episode this week. I hope y'all pick Hellraiser. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.
Yeah, that was a holdover.
So they, as far as I remember, I watched them all this year. I don't think they did Scream, but I'm going to take it even one further. That's a brilliant idea.
I agree.
Matt. I think she should comment on parodies of horror films, like Halloween specials.
You're blowing my mind.
Halloween specials,
scary movie.
Yeah.
But funny.
Or no,
so it's
I'm talking about like Halloween TV specials, like what they are doing.
Oh, I see. I can do that.
Are doing, Like
I thought you were going to like just go all the way down the rabbit hole of like, we're not. She's not giving out the rules of a Scream movie. She's giving out the rules of a scary movie, which has.
Oh no!
Like,
I meant
so
like
it's
she's giving out
the subversion.
She's giving out the rules of how to do a shinning or how the shinning plays. That
I could see both of those working. I actually like your idea better though.
That's a really smart idea, Matt. Good call, man.
Yeah, Lisa's a great conduit for that. Yeah, meta. People love that. Instead, they're bringing in Linda Belcher this year, apparently, for Halloween Horror or Treehouse of Horror, rather.
Which I fucking love Bob's Burgers so much.
I'd be happy to see that.
Yeah, I love Bob's Burgers too, and they always have great Halloween episodes.
They do, man. Oh, I hope they're gonna do a dope ass.
Are they gonna make her look yellow though? What are they gonna do?
That's what they did with the Critic. That's what they did with
That's weird. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. What are they?
I mean, they didn't do that with Hank Hill though. The one time he showed up for a second.
Oh, I don't remember that.
So questionable. Yeah, it was a bit joke.
We'll see about that. Okay.
So
interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, good concept, Matt. Man, thanks for calling in. Next up, we're gonna hear from our boy Hydraberg. Let's hear what he's got to say.
What up, boys? It's your boy Hydraberg. Don't mind the noise, the sizzle. The boy's cooking a little something. I just wanted to say thank you. I was just listening to the recent show for Hellraiser. Dope that you guys have Michael on. It's good to hear his voice again and hear him fucking podcasting. Go, Mike. And I just wanted to say thank you to Bob and Andy for coming on for Suspiria 2018 on A Cut Above. It's awesome having you guys on. I can't wait to have you guys on some more in the next year. Maybe we'll review like a really shitty movie and have like a fucking awesome time just ragging on it. I also want to give a quick thank to Soju for having me on for the special for Werewolf by Night. Andy be damned. It's a good movie. It's a special, you know. It combines horror and comic book stuff. It's fun. It's not going to win any awards, but I dug it, and I really dug the conversation that me and Soju had. And I'm just honored that you guys even asked me to come and be involved in anything Straight Chillin' related. I know, like, your show is precious. Like, you built this fan base up and this thing. And it's you know, it's important to all of us. The whole Slack chat, like, your whole community is just dope, right? And, yeah, I just wanted to give a special thanks to all you guys for being supportive of everybody else's shows, A Cut Above. I wanted to give a special thanks to G-Baby for coming on the other day, for Donnie Darko. That was a dope episode, too. Like, everybody's putting out bangers lately. Everybody's got a podcast. It's fucking awesome to see. And, yeah, it's just fucking, I'm just stoked. Like, Halloween's around the corner. Chilloween this Friday. I'm going to see Halloween tomorrow. I don't even like Halloween that much. But I'm going to go see it so I can be in on the conversation. And, I don't know. Just want to call in and say hi, guys. So, yeah, keep chilling. Keep it creepy. And God bless. Later, guys.
Me be damned.
Randy be damned. It was funny the other night in the Chilloween party. At one point, Miles came in and he was like introducing and talking. He was like, "I'm pretty sure I'm the only person here without a podcast anymore."
Yeah.
Just about, man. We missed you, Heidelberg, at the Chilloween party. People were definitely asking about you. Hopefully, you were having a good time and not a bad time elsewhere.
Hopefully, you weren't getting a sad hand job in a closet or whatever from a stripper, like the stories have told.
Legend has told.
Those are some throwback references. Randy isn't just pulling that out of.
Yeah. That's yeah. Yeah. Good to hear from you, buddy. Happy Halloween for sure. Right back at you. We got two more voicemails. Next up, we're gonna hear from our boy Cole. Let's hear what he's got to say.
Hey guys, Canadian Cole calling here. And actually, I'm the new Patreon this week. I just got a new credit card, so I'm not really a new Patreon. But I haven't called in a really long time, so I'm really calling in just because of that. So I guess a couple things. First, I'm not going to throw any shade at Bob. I think a half star for the dog is a way better. I shouldn't say way better code. But I respect it more because it takes way more to put a dog in a movie opposed to Yabos. You see Yabos everywhere. And the other thing, a long time ago, I suggested a point system, 3 points per each section of Cooterdom. And I hear you guys arguing with a great debate between Voight and Trevor for Hellraiser. And just, I don't know, to solve debates like that, I think it would still work. Yeah, and I actually, to my fault, I haven't seen any of the movies. I have read the book, and the book is like balls to the wall, creepy ass. Like, it made me, I remember I was listening to it, walking the dogs at night one time, and for the first time in like 15 years, probably longer than that, I was like scared to be in the dark. I thought something was behind me. It's a creepy book, that. And no one called in about the Treehouse of Horror. So here's what I think. I think obviously the 3 parts, whatever. One should be on Dracula, one on Frankenstein, one on the Mummy. Now I know they've kind of talked about vampires and Frankenstein's monster and mummies before, but I think they should directly do the movies in like the 30s, kind of reference those, and then obviously try to make it, scary again. I don't care much for gore, but I like when it's real scary. And I guess your question this week was, I'm going to run out of time here, about the Cenobites. I haven't put any thought to this, so I'm just going to say the first thing comes to mind. Randy is going to be, he's going to come in a suit, looking real fly, hair slicked back, beard groomed, and he's going to have like a third fucked up eye. It's all bloody or something. And then he's going to draw you. And whatever he draws becomes reality. So it'll be like your intestines are spilling out of your guts or something.
And I'm the only one that gets one. I love that the terrifying version of me is one that dresses well.
Oh, horrifying.
Damn, he's looking fly.
Oh my God, he's groomed.
He's drawing me like a French girl. Oh God, no.
That's hilarious.
Awesome. I like the idea for the Simpsons Treehouse of Horror as well. Like all three segments were like old Universal Monster like riffs where they took it a little more seriously than they have before. I'd be totally down. Like draw it all in. Like,
I don't think they've done a mummy spoof,
that'd be
as
dope.
far as I remember.
Down for that.
Yeah, it would be cool.
Solid idea, Cole. I also like that Cole's just apparently lousy with Yabos. He's like, those fucking half star for Yabos.
Dude, yeah.
Dime a dozen, motherfucker. Give me a dick.
Cole proves it. Guys just want to see someone swing dong. We respect it. We
want to be represented in the
That's
realm
right.
of nudity.
Representation is very important. I want to see that D.
Show me the meat.
Show me your sweaty fat hog, sir.
Damn.
Not the slim ones.
Says the well-dressed Randy. Pop out that
I will draw
dog.
We want the sausages, not the Slim Jims.
Okay.
Nay, no shaming. No shaming.
Last but not least, we got a first-time caller, I believe. Slytoski. Let's hear what he's got to say.
Hey, boys. It's not first-time listener, but first-time caller, Slytoski. And in answer to the question, what franchise needs to be revived and can easily be done well? Halloween and probably Texas Chainsaw. Happy Halloween.
Halloween obviously needs to be done again because they
one more time. We can do it better next time.
It just takes 20 bites at the apple to get it just right.
Just
one more time.
Texas Chainsaw. They're
poor old Texas. I just don't know if they're ever going to dig themselves out of the dirt.
No.
They tried.
They remade it perfectly when they made X.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah, they're gonna make another one for Netflix because everybody and their grandma watched the Texas Chainsaw 2022.
That was before we were getting the spoils that we're getting now of horror.
Dude,
we were just desperate for something.
Just fucking swimming in quality films.
Yeah, now it's just like, we had to watch Texas Chainsaw.
You know what that made me think of though? Like, I'm sorry. That made me think of a roundabout way. One other thing about Halloween Ends is Corey at one point in this movie just becomes Seymour Krelborn and is feeding people to the monster.
Oh yeah,
it bothered me. I turned to Becky in this movie and I was like, they turned this kid into Seymour fucking Krelborn. This is now Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Each scene, like scene with Michael Myers was like kind of different. You know?
He's a decrepit man. And he can't. I don't know. It's sorry to reopen the wound.
It's dog shit. In conclusion,
David, come on our podcast and defend yourself. Why
that
is
man
this the film
is way too busy living in Hollywood blowing his millions to give a fuck about our opinions.
You would think, but I still gotta, take my shots. I gotta try.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Sure. I think the shot that you're taking is whether or not you'll get a fucking restraining order on your ass.
All over your candied ass.
Ooh,
I gotta restrain that.
You know, that is
candied
thematically
ass
appropriate for Halloween.
with my tongue. Hello. All right. If you guys want to call in and leave a voicemail to be featured on next week's show, hit us up at 904-638-3231. Gentlemen, you got any prompts you want to throw out there and call in? Tell us how much you like this movie and how wrong we are. That's cool. Yeah. I'd be down for that.
Call in and tell us to blow ourselves, please, or anything you want, really.
Blow it out of our asses, whatever.
Yeah.
I've seen some defense already. Some on our Slack of this film. So, I mean, it's not, we can
I haven't seen
it.
Very passionate arguments in favor of this film. Not in our Slack. There are some on the broader internet. But
I've seen some mentions. Like somebody was like, "Oh, my normie husband liked it, so take that for what you are."
Sure.
So I'm like, "Yeah, okay,
that's cool." We're just fucking nerds.
Yeah, like
I want to
once and for the millionth time. We are not experts. We're a bunch of dorks. So just like you,
a bunch of assholes.
That's why everyone who listens to us then started their own podcast where they can incorrectly say things about movies just like us.
Mm-hmm. Wow, I want to see Michael kill people.
And we love him.
Yeah. Leave us.
Where's Ben Tramer?
Oh, my boy Ben. Oh, I want him.
Don't you even know Ben Tramer?
Why didn't they listen to our podcast and find out that Frank Reynolds needs to be in this movie?
See, David, if you listened to us 2 years ago, like you should have, you would have got a great idea.
Danny DeVito is that guy that Laurie Strode's talking about. You meet him and he makes you want to rip your fucking top off and show grief your tits. That's Danny DeVito. And that's what we need.
She could get real weird with it.
Halloween rear-ended is
Lindsay owns a damn bar, but Ben Tramer doesn't even get even.
I feel I'm starting to feel really bad for complaining about a lack of focus in this movie when this is our podcast. So
yeah, we're done.
Maybe we should. Maybe we should
keeping the beat. Keeping the beat.
I want to hear one day Buck Soju for that terrible. He can't even do his job right.
Somebody is already typing tic tac tickety tac, and it's coming.
Why did they even give him a platform?
He makes trillions of dollars and just churns out.
He's just living it up in soul, just laughing
doing
it up
blow off hookers' asses,
off the holes,
off of the hole somehow. We're gonna be back.
Just yeeting all that blow.
We're gonna be back next week with a brand new episode, and we apologize in advance for that. It's gonna be our Halloween extravaganza. Juice, what 3 movies are we talking about next week?
Oh my lord, I don't know if I can remember. The Exorcist.
How did you become me all of a sudden?
The Exorcist.
The OG.
The Exorcism of Emily Rose and The Last Exorcism.
Nailed it. Those are the movies that you picked.
Exorcist
nailed it.
I'm going to, I don't know how we're going to talk about them, but I plan to watch them. Exorcist, The Last Exorcism, Exorcism of Emily
I think we should swap 2 and 3 and just do them chronologically. That makes the most sense to me.
That's fine.
I think we should do them in a random order.
We should just talk about
I think I should talk about The Last Exorcism while Bob talks about The Exorcist while Randy
simultaneously?
talks about Emily Rose at the same time.
Yeah, let's do that.
In a round.
Okay.
Let's do that.
We're very good at talking over each other. Wait. Let me get my point in about another movie.
So, yeah, check out the OG Exorcist, The Exorcism of Emily Rose, and The Last Exorcism. Get ready for next week's show. Until then, please, actually don't rate us on iTunes probably after this episode. Just go ahead and skip that. You can subscribe to us if you want to. Send us an email and bitch juice out, or any of us if you want it, straightchillingpodcast@gmail.com. Find us on Twitter, str8_chilling. If you want to join our Slack channel conversations, hit us up on one of those social media outlets and I'll send you a link so you can do so. And until next week, as always, all you mother truckers, please keep chilling.
Rip off your shirt and show grief your fucking tits.